Hello, my friend. So, you found this video and you're getting a lot of signs and confirmations lately. It's a wonderful thing. But I can also understand from a different perspective, it can be sometimes overwhelming or frustrating. Or perhaps you find yourself in a cycle of constantly looking up or evaluating signs and signals. So, in today's video, we're going to explore a few perspectives that's going to help you shift from seeking signs, interpreting signs, and being a little bit on that hamster wheel into a place where you're connected more deeply to your sense of inner knowing and grounding. And you can discern when a sign is for you and when it's not. And you can more readily trust yourself that you've received the messages of the signs you have seen. So, first thing first, it's wonderful to connect with you, whether it's the first time or the millionth. I'm Danielle, and one of the things that I am is a facilitator that helps people, inspired alchemists such as yourself, remember how to access their inner wisdom so they can navigate life with clarity and ease. And part of this specific conversation has to do with many of us who are coming into conversations on these videos lately. There is a certain level of magnetism that occurs within our conversations, within these videos, within the community. I've mentioned before that whenever I record these videos, I actually attune and am in tune with those who are watching it. You might ask, how is that so? From my perspective, all of us have the ability to access this same field of, let's call it information that I'm accessing as well. So the power of our focus, the power of our intention, and the more clear we are with our inner knowing, many layers of understanding open up to us. Now, what we do with that understanding is a different story. For myself, I enjoy operating in this field of understanding from a place of delightful co-creation. It's very exciting to me. The prospect of any and all of us who are delighted to be in tune with who we are and living our versions of life that are delightful and joyful and satisfying to us, that excites me because I know, from my perspective, I know that the more of us that are present now, deliberately creating life in a way that truly inspires us, the more of us can come together consciously or unconsciously and start to envision and bring to life realities that maybe we'll find more enjoyable than some of the things we're experiencing now. That is to say, if you notice, a lot of this world operates by agreement. The economy is essentially a big agreement. The way that certain rules work, it's agreements. And they're agreements that are made not just at societal levels, but they're unconscious or conscious agreements. Most religions are organized agreements that are placed together by doctrines written and spoken. And they are reinforced by energetic focus across spans of time. Anything that is a belief, whether it's individual or shared, is basically an amplified energy form that materializes in one form or another. So you could say, in a way, our videos here, they are sort of amplified energy forms of, from my perspective, all of us who are here showing up on some level are excited about the prospect of being deliberate creators. We're enjoying the idea of connecting to our community, of being synchronistic, of living as who we truly are. It's one of the reasons I find such joy and delight creating these videos with you. Because every time we are placing our focus on things that empower us, whether it's experiences like this, whether it's things that you do on your own or going on a nature walk or connecting with people you love, the more we place our amplified focus on the things we truly enjoy, the more we are tapping into our natural power of creation and co-creation and creating that much more space for us to individually and collectively bring about the kind of world experience that we want. That was a good one. That was a good one. So, when you receive signs, when you receive synchronicities, especially when you're in a place of unknowing, a place of trepidation, a place of exploration, it can be enticing to look at the signs and synchronicities as devices to help us feel more confident and grounded and reaffirm our path. The paradox is that so long as we require something outside of ourselves to balance how we feel inside of ourselves, the you might say, from my perspective, it's less likely we'll be stable in the long term. It's because if you require your outer experience to tell you that things are okay, then whenever that changes, you might register it as things are not okay. When sometimes things can change in the outside world, even if we don't fully enjoy them, that don't necessarily mean that it's not okay. And this is where discernment comes in. Our ability to be grounded within ourselves. I'll say this a different way. Our ability to have a relationship with ourselves that's really clear, that's based on being very present and responsive instead of reactive, helps us face seemingly uncomfortable or discomforting moments for short or prolonged periods of time and be able to be clear enough to, again, discern or choose. We're not judging, we're not freaking out, but we're being present. And then we have access to more information about our current situation. There's like a whole lot of information in that packet right there. It's a good one. But see, the important thing is if we keep looking for the answers, if we keep looking for the answers and we're feeling unsettled inside of ourselves, it's because on some level, we're not choosing to be present with the discomfort. I'm not suggesting that you need to seek out discomfort. What I'm offering, however, is that anything that we run away from on some level, consciously or unconsciously, contains within it a potential for a great deal of energy, of power to be returned to you. Because anything we avoid, we are using energy consciously and unconsciously to either create scenarios to avoid it. Like I think about those really complicated, what are they called? Rube Goldberg machines. I think so. It's like the things that you set up and they have all these different steps. Well, our conscious and our subconscious mind sets up things like that to help us avoid the things that we say that we're resisting or we don't prefer. When we are conscious and deliberate with these things, then instead of going through great lengths to kind of tiptoe around it, we often find the most easeful and straightforward path through. And the thing is, a lot of our, at least for myself, a lot of my experience of embracing a life in flow was less about attempting to figure things out, and it was a lot more about being present to previous conditioning, being present to ways that I had been used to feeling. So any strategies I had for trying to self-soothe, if those appeared, for example, in me looking for signs and attempting to show myself it was going to be okay, well, once I caught that, then signs that I was receiving started to become more clear. So if this resonates with you on some level, I invite you to take heart. You found this video, which means in my perspective, you are upgrading the way that you approach all these things. It doesn't surprise me because, again, from my perspective, if you're watching, especially this far, then you are someone, you're not new to this. Let's put it that way. And I really applaud you for that. Very grateful that you're here in the world at this time, because this is a time when the world could really benefit from you and your resonance. And so, if you are wondering, perhaps an approach to, if you find signs or you see signs, and maybe you have a tendency to sometimes want to look for them again, I know I have done this, then I offer this perspective. The next time you receive a sign, whatever the next sign is, give yourself about 3 days. If this feels good, give yourself about 3 days to really digest that one sign you received. Whatever other signs come up, like, that's fine. Maybe you can make a note of them somewhere, but ask yourself as an experiment, if it is appropriate for me, show me the next sign to focus on for the 3 days, and I will just sit with that and be with that, and I won't look for anything further beyond that, and see what comes of it. It's like a digestion, 3-day digestion. Now, you might feel inclined to do even further than that, but I offer this to you as an experiment. A lot of my life I approach with that sense of experiment, because experiments give me the opportunity to shift patterns from playful ways. Experiments give me the opportunity to look at something that I may have seen a million times and suddenly get a glimpse from a completely different angle, completely changing everything. But experiments allow us to do so without as much, at least for myself, without as much resistance, because it's not that I'm trying to force or change something. I'm just curious. And I'm certain you have your curiosities as well. So, seems like a good point for us. If this video has benefited you in some way, please do feel free to share it with someone, to subscribe, to like. In the comments section, I really invite us to continue the conversation. Have you been seeing more signs and synchronicities lately? Are you choosing to do the 3-day focus? Maybe it's like a 3-day synchronicity fast, so you could really attune and see what comes through for yourself. I would love to know your experiences and also what you might like to hear more of. There's also going to be some links in the description if you'd like to explore them. And then for now, and always, appreciate you, and I look forward to our next conversation.